You are Vijaykumar. What is the name actually? Shipra. Shipra. Vijaykumar is your dad?
Yes.
Okay. So are you doing something or you are just studying?
Right now I am preparing for CSE only.
Okay. Have you appeared before?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you get in?
No, ma'am. I have not been able to. This is my third attempt.
Okay. So you are not doing any job as such. Tell me, why is pollution an environmental factor? Pollution like in Delhi or anywhere else?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, pollution is an environmental factor because there are emissions that take place from man-made sources, and it impacts the entire shared global thing. So that is why it becomes an environmental factor. It has an impact on nature, and vice versa. Both nature impacts pollution and pollution impacts nature. That is why.
How about AQI? Have you heard of AQI?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the AQI in Delhi?
Ma'am, it ranges, right now it is ranging between 300 to 400, and it is in the severe category.
Yeah, so it affects your health, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Why are there so many asthma patients and all that? Because of the pollution.
Yes,
That's a separate issue, but have you heard of international trade? Like all countries have international trade.
Yes.
We trade with many countries. So what do you think it is?
Ma'am, international trade is the trade or the merchandise exports and imports that take place on a global level through rules that are established by a global body. That is international trade.
That is. So you tell me about WHO, right?
Yes,
so WHO has said that, even today's paper says that COVID is not under control, things are not good. Do you agree with that?
Ma'am, globally, because there are many strains that are emerging, so it is yet to stay here. Specifically for India, as per the reports that have come up, there are not many cases which are emerging right now in India, and it could be because of hybrid immunity. But at a global level, the threat is still there.
How about China?
Yes, ma'am.
China, is the COVID active there? Are there many patients, many deaths? Have you read about it?
Yes, ma'am. The threat is imminent in China, and it is because of the harsh policies that were taken earlier, and it is there, ma'am, and it will stay for quite some time according to various reports.
Do we trade with China? Does India trade with China these days?
Yes, ma'am.
It does. What do we import? What do we export to China?
Ma'am, we have a trade deficit with China. We import more than what we export. Majorly what we import is the raw materials that are required, and the finished goods to a certain extent are exported. Generic medicines in this regard, taking a cue from the COVID, APIs are imported from China, ma'am, and generic medicines which are produced in India, they have caught quite demand in China as of now.
How about computer chips? Are we still importing computer chips? The chip that we use, are we importing from China or we've given up?
I am not really sure, ma'am, but I think we would be importing that as well.
Right, sir, please.
Ms. Shipra,
Yes.
how does this anthropology and social development of a human being is correlated? Can you explain?
Yes, sir. So in various aspects, we see that the original migrants or the original inhabitants of a region have evolved to become the civilized society that we consider ourselves today. And in this way, there is an evolutionary scheme of lines, for instance, for family, for society in general, for politics, for economics, and that has overall made us the way that we are today. So.
Okay. A related question. You see, after many generations, a few vultures, they are being extinct.
Yes.
So, what is the reason behind that?
So a major reason has been the proliferation of diclofenac in medicine, sir. as an antibiotic and for treatment of animals, particularly cattle, diclofenac was prescribed. And in the few decades, in the few decades following this, we have seen that vultures who feed on those cattle have bioaccumulated it, and as a result, their deaths are happening, sir, at a large scale.
And what was the reason of being these dinosaurs and few other species gone away from our sites?
So specifically for dinosaurs, sir?
Yes, dinosaurs and few more species at the same time which were present.
Yes, sir. It has been because of a multiple reasons, sir. If we go to the ice age and the ages spanning over millions of years, we see that extinction of animals has been a very natural cycle, and it has been because of climate change. Specifically with respect to dinosaurs, sir, there are various theories that have come up, which is that a meteorite impact has caused extinction of dinosaurs. The second theory says that it is because of the ice age that had come up. So these have been the reasons. In more recent times, sir, it has been because of habitat destruction, poaching. These threats have been there, sir.
Okay. Health related, self-help.
Yes, sir.
Where does India stands in this health index?
Health index, sir. So overall health infrastructure of India, I think we are yet to improve. There's a lot of scope of improvement, sir. With respect to health expenditure, for instance, our expenditure is about 1.5% or so, which has been cited should increase to 2.5%. In the health with respect to the health of citizens, sir, the NCD burden, non-communicable diseases burden, is increasing day by day, and at the same time there is also issue of malnutrition that is taking place. So it is an irony that both of these things are taking place at the same time, sir.
Few neighboring countries which are not at par, but they are going, they are living under poor conditions. Even then, their health index is above our country.
Yes, sir.
Why is it so?
So the countries that are performing well than India, for instance, Bhutan is a very primary example of how its human development index is above that of India, despite India being a bigger economy. One major reason that comes to my mind, sir, is that its focus or its emphasis on nature and nature conservation, and this helps in reducing the pollution and pollution related deaths in their country. So this becomes a major issue, sir.
Thank you, Shipra, sir.
Thank you. Shipra, you are from UP and presently settled in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Tell me, what is the difference in UP and Maharashtra with respect to status of women? Just tell me 2-3 points.
Okay, sir. So with respect to literacy of women, sir, as far as I can recall, the literacy of UP of women is around 58%, sir.
Okay.
And for Maharashtra it is 70% or so. I am not able to recall the exact
No problem.
number.
Tell me what next.
So in terms of perceived safety, it is perceived so that cities in Maharashtra are safer as compared to
For women. Okay.
for
Good. That
women.
is two. Second, tell me one more.
Okay. So representation in the workforce is greater in Maharashtra as
very
compared to UP.
Very nice. Now this demographic dividend,
Yes.
it is said that India has a huge advantage of demographic dividend.
Sir.
Can you name 5 schemes launched by Government of India in the recent past? Recent past means past couple of years, where in the focus is on tapping our demographic dividend, leveraging our demographic dividend. Just 5 Government of India schemes.
Yes, sir. So the Skill India program is one.
Yeah, that's good.
The Stand Up India and
that's
Startup
good.
India, sir.
Good.
So can I say the right to education, although it's
Yeah, no, right to education is good. Yeah,
Yes.
this will, yeah, correct. Tell me 2 more.
Sir, I am able to recall these many at the moment.
Okay. Now budget will be presented tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, in your opinion, what 3-4 policy announcements should be made in the budget in view of the current global and Indian domestic challenges or issues?
So I believe that COVID-19 pandemic effect has been there, and there has been surge in inflation as well because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So and inflation targeting is something that the RBI is eyeing towards. But at the same time, fiscal stimulus is important too, with respect to the lower economic strata, for instance, farmers who have suffered. And also, so although there are various schemes that have already been launched, for instance, for street vendors, there is Swanidhi schemes. But I think those schemes should be reinvigorated and made more specific to the demands of people.
Okay.
And
tell me one more.
So I think the scheme which was pertaining to ration should be brought about again, sir.
Which one? Sorry, I couldn't.
So the ration scheme was taken. The
Ration. Okay.
yes, sir.
Public distribution.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Now, Shipra, this Atmanirbhar Bharat has given big boost to our defense sector,
Yes, sir.
right? Can you tell me 5 military equipments or products which are now being manufactured or procured domestically
Yes.
and no longer being imported?
Okay.
Just 5. You can name any 5.
Okay, sir.
There is a long list, of
Yes,
course.
sir.
Yeah. Tell me 5.
So the Agni missile is one, sir. Then, sir, under the P-75 project, we have submarines that have been indigenously manufactured.
Okay. 2. Tell me 2. 3
INS
more.
Vishakhapatnam and INS Vikrant,
Yeah.
sir. So BrahMos is indigenously prepared, but it is with the help of the
No,
Russian.
no, it's okay. No problem.
So
No, indigenous.
that is there, sir.
2 more.
I am able to recollect these many, sir.
Okay, no
Sorry.
problem. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Mulayam Singh has been conferred the Padma Vibhushan. What was his contribution? Why should he be given Padma Vibhushan?
So in the field of politics, he has made various efforts, sir. So it is primarily for that purpose.
So what is the contribution? I mean, just holding a post is enough. He was Chief Minister of UP, he was Defence Minister of India. Many people who have been Chief Ministers, Defence Ministers.
Yes, sir.
So is that enough to confer a Padma Vibhushan?
So there were various socialist policies under his reign when he was the chief minister that were brought about. Although I am not specifically able to name those policies as of now, but because of this contribution, sir, he has
He
been
was most
posted.
renowned for his secular politics.
Yes, sir.
The present government is not renowned for secular politics. In fact, I suppose he used to criticize the present government. So, don't you find this surprising that he was given the Padma Vibhushan?
Yes, sir.
It's surprising. Do you find it surprising? Yes or no?
Sir, to a certain extent, but I think the larger purpose of such national awards is to recognize the efforts of various people. And Shri Mulayam Singh Yadav ji has been one such person. So I think politics aside, I think that could be his efforts and his contribution could be majorly regarded, and probably
Now,
that could be the reason.
Tribals are the main subject area of anthropology. You end up studying tribals. Why have the tribals been so susceptible to left-wing extremism in India in recent times?
Yes, sir.
Give me 3 reasons, three specific reasons.
So the major reason has been, or what has been cited, is the lack of development. That is one. With respect to education.
Development in what respect?
So development of tribals, sir.
Development in what respect? What is the meaning of development of tribals?
So with respect to their livelihoods, with respect to their education, those have been the major hindrances, or they have not been able to access those services as well as the rest of the country, sir.
That's
So,
one. Then what else?
Second, sir, our policy of assimilation, sir, to a certain extent has also caused this. because they feel that their culture is being lost in the name of development, sir. So that is second. And third, I believe, sir, it is also because of education and illiteracy that such issues have come up, sir.
Now, what is the status of Panchayati Raj in tribal areas in India currently?
Yes, sir. So under the 5th schedule, sir, we have PISA Act of 1996, through which.
What is the difference between PISA and the 73rd Amendment?
Yes, sir. So PISA Act provides more flexibility in governance of rural areas, sir. There are autonomous councils also that are provided, which are at par with the 6th schedule. So this is the major difference.
PISA Act provides for autonomous councils.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure about that?
I'll look into it, sir. I'm not really sure.
Now, you have interest in health-related self-help.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, this sounds very dangerous to me. Self-help means basically, in Hindi there is a saying, neem hakim type of thing. Is that what you imply by this?
Sir,
Just reading something on the internet or WhatsApp and following that as the health advice. What is your idea?
Sir, in my opinion, sir, every article that I read or go through, because of my background in zoology and also in anthropology, I think I am able to understand the biological concepts as such, but at the same time, I do not take every article very seriously and adopt it the very next day, sir. I do take every article with a grain of salt, and self-medication is something that I stay away from and also think that people should in general.
One last question then. See, the tribals of India, some people say that the tribal lifestyle is very environment friendly.
Yes.
On the other hand, you have just said that they have not developed. Now, the development will probably destroy that environment friendly aspect of the tribal lifestyle. Do you think this is the contradiction?
Yes, sir. This is something that we must learn from tribal, sir, I feel. And at the same time, there are certain policies that we have taken up deriving from tribals. For instance, how human-wildlife conflict in the rest of the areas has been a major concern, but their cohabitation with animals is something that we can learn from, and that, in my belief, would be development on our side. Development in the general sense, when I said with respect to tribal, sir, I meant with respect to education and literacy and livelihood.
You didn't mean things like industrialization, etc.
No, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Shipra, you have a zoology background, and you also love reading stuff around health related things. So I was just thinking about a statement that is often made with reference to the traditional system of healing in India, say Ayurveda.
Yes, sir.
It is said that there is no zoology in Ayurveda. Do you agree?
There is no zoology in Ayurveda, sir. Sir, I am not able to interpret the literal meaning of the sentence.
Have you ever cared to, or what could be the implication? I mean, commonsensically, what is it that this person might be trying to say or trying to imply by this statement? It's a very strong statement.
Yes, sir. So can I take a guess, sir?
Yes.
I believe that it could be that only no animal produce is being taken in Ayurvedic medicine, sir.
Are you sure of that?
No, sir. It's just a guess,
So,
sir.
have you cared to look at the taxonomical principles of presenting species in Ayurveda? It could be plant species, it could be animal species. Or do you think that they are out and out anthropocentric?
So the species classification that is done, or the taxonomical classification that is done
In zoology,
yes, sir.
and the way it is done in Ayurveda. Have you ever juxtaposed the two?
Sir, I am not aware if there's a different classification for Ayurveda, sir. Taxonomical classification with respect to animals.
Okay. You are also interested in environmental sciences, and that perhaps was a subject of yours at the undergraduate level. So, there's another thing that we used to hear decades back. I don't know whether we are still clinging on to that argument. The Western countries, or you can say developed countries, used to say that it is the huge population of China and India that's a problem for environment, and we used to retort that it is not the huge population, it is the problem population which is a problem for environment. What could be the punch contained in this statement?
Yes, sir. So one thing that comes to my mind is probably industrial emissions or the capitalist class of both these countries, and second could also be the lesser educated people in the country who could be extracting resources.
Have you looked at the per capita consumption of industrial population vis-a-vis developing countries population?
Yes, sir. It is quite less in India. It is the lowest. It is one of the lowest per capita emissions that we have in India, sir.
So,
But that
this is precisely what perhaps we were trying to say.
Yes, sir. So it is a hoax that is created by the Western countries to shift the blame towards developing countries or the more populated countries, to say that they are using resources but are not.
There is another strategy that the developing countries can latch on to, and that is leapfrogging in terms of usage of technology to overcome environmental problems. Do you have something to say on that count?
About use of technology, sir?
Leapfrogging in terms of use of technology.
Okay, sir. So I'm not aware about it, of how
Okay.
technology directly will help, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.